This is going to be your video tutorial on how to create your first LCD circuit. We are going to use what is here the LCD 1602A or 16-pin LCD screen. It's 16 characters wide by 2 lines, and so this is going to be everything that you need to get this done. So the very first thing that you're going to do is you're going to insert this into the row of your breadboard. To make it so it's nice and easy, I would start it at one end or the other, so it's just at the very end, so then I know which pins are going to be which. So I'm going to start mine right at row 30. So mine is right at the very end of my breadboard. Now my breadboard's a little smaller than your guys's. You will need also for this project a set of, you need a potentiometer, and you will need 15 jumper wires, 13 of the male-to-male, which you can get from me, and 2 that are just going to jump for your connectors on your breadboard. Next thing that you're going to do is we're going to put our potentiometer in. Does not have to be on the same rail because we're going to connect everything up the right way. I'm going to put my potentiometer just right into, I'm going to make it nice and neat. My wiper leg, which is my triangle leg, is going to go right into, I'm going to make mine just go right into row number 5. So there's that. So 6 is going to be one leg, 4 is going to be the other leg. So here's how we're going to make our connections. We're going to take our jumper wires, and this will also be in the code that you've been given. So if you want to look at that, you could look at that. Your pins are all labeled. Your very first pin, which for me is at the bottom of row 30, is my VSS. I go into that row there, and that is going to go to my ground rail. So that's going to be my ground rail. My next pin that I'm going to go into is going to be my VDD, which is going to be my voltage display driver, and that is going to go into my positive rail. So I'm going to put that over into my positive rail of my breadboard side so that I've got that. The next pin that I am going to connect is the VO pin. The VO pin is actually going to be your contrast for your backlight. So that needs to go to my wiper leg, which is going to be pin number 5. From there, I'm going to take, and just so you don't have to do the male-to-male, you can just do the jumper wires from your kit. One leg needs to go to ground, so I'm going to make my leg 6 go to ground, or go to positive because I got my red cable, so leg 6 is going to go to my positive cable, and then I'll make my other wiper leg, which would be leg 4, is going to go to ground. Now this, for you guys, would be a lot easier if you use some of those shorter cables, so you don't have this nice these big loops here, but not a big deal if you do. Then what we are going to do is the next pin that you've got is what's known as your RS pin. And your RS pin is going to be connected to your pin 12 on your Uno, on your digital side. So I'm going to come into here on my Uno, and I'm going to plug that into pin number 12. Make sure I get that into the right spot. Then my RW, which is going to be my next pin, is going to connect to my ground rail. And then my next pin that I'm going to do is my E pin. My E pin on my display 16-2 matrix is going to go to pin 11 on the Uno. So I'm going to put that on to pin 11. And the next thing that I'm doing is I'm going to skip. So you're going to skip pins D0, D1, D2, and D3. And you're going to go to D4. So make sure you're going to skip 4. So you're going to have skip 4 spots. And that one is going to go to pin number 5 on my Uno. Make sure that I put that into the right. Oh, I got off by 1. Pin number 5. But then D6 is going to go to pin 4. D6 goes into pin number 4. D3, or I'm sorry, D7 is going to go into pin number 3 on my Uno. D8 or D7 is going to go into pin number 2 on my board. D7 is going to go into pin number 2 on my board. So this is going to be pin 2. And then the last thing that I've got is my A pin for my board needs to go to my positive rail. So I'm going to put this into my positive rail anywhere. And then my last one that I'm going to do is my K. The K is going to go into my negative rail. Negative rail. Just going to put that into my negative rail. So let me make sure I can get this in here. And I have got it. Okay, so the last thing that we want to do is make sure that we get everything connected up. So we'll do two more jumper wires, and these jumper wires are going to connect our power to our breadboard. Power to our breadboard. So we're going to go from my positive rail, and that is going to go into my 5 volts on my Uno. All right, the 5 volts on the Uno. Then my ground is going to go into, and this broke here. Oh, hold on here. Let me get that one off of there. This one, put this pin back together here real fast. Get another one. And then my ground rail, I'm going to connect to my ground just so that we've got it. So this is what your circuit should look like when it is ready to go. The next thing that we are going to do is load the code to it. So take our USB cable, and the code that you guys are going to have is going to have errors in it. So you are going to have to debug this code. So when I plug this in, I plug this in here, and let's see what I have got for this, and we're going to hit this to run, verify my code, and I run my code here, and my upload was successful. So then I adjust my contrast so that I can see my message. And so there's my message that I did for you guys. It says welcome. So then what you can do is you can change your code to something else. So if I wanted to, I'm going to change my code in here, and that's what you're going to need to figure out. And let's verify my code. Let's upload it. No, we got it going here. So let's do this. I got it here a little bit. Let's there it is, and you've got it. So this is, to finish this off, what you're going to need to do is create a custom message, school appropriate, and you will need to send this down to the send this on to Seesaw.